Hello. Today I'm going to read you a story called Gary and the Very Terrible Monster by Barbara Williams, and it's illustrated by Louis Axeman. It's a book I had when I was a little boy. It was printed in Exeter back in 1964. No, I'm not quite that old. 1974. When Gary was 5, he had a pet monster. A very terrible monster. His name was Mr. Greennose. He had a green nose, and long black hair, and red eyes, and 7 yellow horns, and a tail that could throw rocks. Mr. Greennose could grow tall as a house. And Mr. Greennose could grow small as a mouse. He made a terrible noise, a noise like a little boy burping. Mr. Mud lived next door. He could not see Mr. Greennose. He did not know about monsters. They throw rocks. Mr. Mud thought Gary threw the rock. It went through Mr. Mud's window, it flew by his nose, and it hit his goldfish bowl. Out went 5 goldfish and 2 black ones. Miss Fit lived down the street. She could not see Mr. Greennose. She did not know about monsters. They are bad to small animals. She thought that Gary put cans on her pet cat. The paperboy could not see Mr. Greennose. He did not know about monsters. They like to build things. He thought that Gary left the nails in the street. The nails that made holes in his bicycle tyres. Gary's teacher could not see Mr. Greennose. She did not know about monsters. They don't like girls. She thought Gary put the fly in Debbie White's milk. It made Debbie cry. No one else could see Mr. Greennose. Only Gary. Gary told people about Mr. Greennose. He told his mum and dad, but mums and dads are funny. They don't believe in monsters. Gary's mum and dad could not see Mr. Greennose. They thought it was Gary that did all the bad things. Well, they can't see him at all. They thought that Gary left his wagon out in the rain, and left skates on the stairs, and put blue paint on the chair, and made those terrible burping noises. Gary was sorry that Mr. Greennose was bad, but Gary could not get rid of him. How do you get rid of a monster with a green nose and long black hair and red eyes and 7 yellow horns and a tail that can throw rocks? One day, Gary and his monster went for a walk. They came to a pet store, and in the window was a brown puppy. It looked at Gary with big eyes. Gary went into the store. He asked the man if he could hold the puppy. The man said yes, so Gary took the puppy, and her tail went fast. "What's her name?" asked Gary. "Cookie," said the man. "She likes you. You may play with her, but we may sell her soon. She'll make a good watchdog for some boy." A watchdog. A watchdog. Gary had an idea. He put Cookie down and he ran all the way home. Gary told his mum about his idea. She was not sure it would work. "Monsters are bad," she said. "They do not like small animals. Mr. Greennose might put cans on Cookie, or throw rocks at Cookie, or put a fly in her bowl." "Oh no," said Gary. "Cookie is a watchdog. Mr. Greennose is afraid of Cookie." "How do you know?" asked Gary's mum. "He was afraid in the pet store," said Gary. "He hid in my pocket and he did not burp once." Gary's mum thought about it. She talked to Gary's dad. They said they would try it. The next day, Cookie came to Gary's house. She came to live. She looked all around. She yipped and yipped. She scared Mr. Greennose away, and he never came back. And that is the story of Gary and the Very Terrible Monster. It's It's Mr. Green Nose with his red eyes and his 7 yellow horns. And it was a very, very special book to me when I was young. And there's Mr. Green Nose hiding in Gary's pocket when they're in the pet store. I've got a brown dog now. She's called Sybil. I don't know if she'd scare away a monster. Maybe if you see one, you'd let me know and we can try.